Leave Whitewood tonight. I beg of you. Leave before it is too late.
In spite of this warning, the girl lingers on. The guests are over 300 years old. Human blood keeps them alive forever.
Everything is ready, my darling. Do not be afraid. Soon we'll be together again.
Richard and Brant talk about their favorite 1960s horror films. Part 1. 3, 2, 1.
That sounds like I sped you up.
Hello, and welcome to Hello. This is the show.
Do I have to do that every time?
Yes.
Okay. You still there?
I am.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Hello, This is the Doom Show. I am Richard.
And I'm the douche.
Did you say the douche?
Yeah. On Parks and Rec, there's a ridiculous radio show called Ira and the Douche.
Ah. See, I've only watched one episode of that. And I like that.
Oh, it's funny.
But who is this really?
This is really Brad.
See, folks, I just call a random number, and every 6 weeks or 10, I get Brad. He's a good guy.
Thank you. What are we here to talk about this evening?
We are here to talk about pieces of paper with some, words written on it, but we're also going to call it horror movies of the 1960s.
Wise choice.
I thought so. Hey, thanks. We're going to pick our favorite movies from every year from 1960 to 1969 and talk about them. And then, as an added bonus, we're going to discuss and rank the Corman Poe movies.
Very exciting. In our 60 to 69 list, we did not choose Hammer films, Bava films, or obviously the Corman Poe films.
Right.
We wanted to challenge ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't want this to be the, hey, let's talk about Bava all over again. And we didn't want it to be the Hammer one because we're going to do a Hammer episode. And just because Roger Corman and Edgar Allan Poe were personal friends doesn't mean he gets to make a bunch of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you like better, Roger Corman or Edgar Allan Poe?
Neither. I prefer August Derleth.
Really?
No.
I'm going to say Corman. Poe is a dick.
Poe is not my favorite writer.
Right. I know who your favorite writer is. Charles Dickens.
Yes. You called it, brah.
I knew it.
Guilty as charged, homie. Well, let's see. You want to start with your choice for your favorite film from the year of 1960?
Yes. For 1960, I picked The City of the Dead, which is also known as Horror Hotel.
Ooh.
Directed by John Llewellyn Moxey, who later on went on to direct TV horror films from the 1970s. It stars it's barely starring, but an appearance from one Christopher Lee. It is actually an early Amicus film. I don't believe Amicus actually released it, but the guys that started Amicus put it out. And it's have you ever seen it?
Yes, I have.
It's a very little atmospheric, kind of like Salem Witch sort of film. That is my pick for 1960.
That one usually is on a bunch of budget
yes
thing. Oh, God, my brain. a bunch of
that's actually how I've seen it.
Yeah, budget collections. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I have seen it. I don't know if I've seen it all the way through. I'm not sure.
I think you'd like it. It's pretty atmospheric.
Well, I'm always up for Christopher Lee.
Exactly.
That's a good choice, sir. I like that.
Thank you. What are we doing about our alternate picks? Are we going to announce them too, or am I going to?
We'll save them for the end.
Okay.
What
is your 1960 favorite film?
I chose Eyes Without a Face.
Ooh.
Directed by Georges Franju. It's a French horror film, and I think it's one of those movies that seems pretty famous. I feel like it felt silly mentioning it, but then I'm like, well, has everyone seen this movie?
A very good point.
They should. It's really, really strange, really, really scary, and surprisingly graphic for its time. It inspired good old Jess Franco to make,
it did.
What was it? Faceless.
I would say that his first, I don't know if it's his first, but the first one that's a horror film, The Awful Dr. Orloff, I'd say that he got a lot of inspiration for that one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It did inspire that. It was, because Awful Dr. Orloff was the first Spanish horror film, I think.
I believe you're right. I will give you a baby elephant if you can tell me off the top of your head the alternate title for Eyes Without a Face here in America.
No, I don't know off the top of my head.
The Horror Chamber of Dr. Faustus.
Wow. If I had looked at the Wikipedia page I had open, I could have told you that.
You could have.
Because there it is. Wow.
But you abided by the rules.
Is there a character in the movie named Faustus? No.
I don't think so.
Wow. That's pretty hot. That explains all those Dr. Faustus movies, the sequels.
Exactly.
No, wait.
The bedpan of Dr. Faustus.
Oh, man.
Terrifying.
I slept in that. No, I meant I slipped in that.
You slept through it, baby.
Yeah.
That's actually got a Criterion Blu-ray release.
Yes, I'm actually tempted to get that.
I have it.
I have Eyes Without a Face, a DVD-R I recorded off of cable many years ago.
Ooh. Yeah.
Looks like crap.
That's a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
You did a good job.
All right. Thank you. So did you. What is your 1961 choice?
My 1961 choice is The Innocents.
Ooh.
I'm sure everybody listening is familiar with The Innocents. It's Deborah Kerr. It's basically a retelling of Henry James's The Turn of the Screw. Very creepy film. Very creepy. Stars a young Pamela Franklin, who is in several films that I enjoy quite a bit. There's actually there was a prequel made, not necessarily to this film, but to the story, called The Nightcomers, which I've always wanted to see, that stars one Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
I believe you turned me on to just being aware of that film.
Yeah, I know about it, but I've never seen it myself either.
The Innocents, pretty good movie.
My 1961 choice is a film called La Innocenti, and it's a remake of The Turn of the Screw by James E. James. Le Innocenti.
Le Innocenti.
Now, my choice is also The Innocents from 1961.
Very nice.
I thought I'd never seen it, but then I watched it pretty recently on cable. I think within sometime last year I watched it on cable, and man, it was one of those movies that as you're watching it, you start to remember that you've seen it, but you don't remember it well enough to know what's coming next, and it was just really good. It's a solid movie. Good shit.
Beautifully photographed, I believe, by Freddie Francis.
Oh, man. It's gorgeous.
Man. Well, excellent. I was wondering if we would have any doubles.
There might be. There might be some.
I strongly suspect my next one you might have picked.
Oh, I bet you. Let's hear it.
1962, I picked The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock.
Yes. That's my choice,
Ricardo,
too.
I knew it. Of course, we covered this on the show. My first copy I received from one Richard Glenn Schmidt. It was early in our friendship, and you would send me care packages, and I was so excited that was in it because I had seen The Ghost, and I was very excited to see what this one had to offer, and it did not disappoint at all. I have a strong alternate for this year as well that we can get to later.
Nice.
But I know The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock.
Speaking of movies that need to be on Blu-ray, holy crap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my 1962 choice, like I blurted out, was also The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock, or The Horrible Secret of Dr. Hitchcock, whatever.
I believe it's The Horrible Dr. Faustus.
Yes. It's a fantastic movie. It's just so beautifully done and so smart. And listen to our episode in the archives of The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock. We love it.
Mm-hmm.
What is your 1963 choice, sir?
My 1963 choice is a low-budget proto-slasher film directed by one Francis Ford Coppola. It is Dementia 13.
Mm-hmm.
This is a film that I picked up used the first time I bought it. I believe it's public domain. It was a cheapy disc. It is really good. It's got Luana Anders in it, one of her leading roles. She was also in The Pit and the Pendulum. She was a Corman regular. This is actually a Corman produced film. It's got Patrick McGee, who we all know from having horrifying eyebrows and being in The Black Cat, among many other things, Clockwork Orange. And it's got all the ingredients of a slasher film, just a proto-slasher. I bought the Blu-ray. I've always had some ghosting issues with the Blu-ray. I don't know if I could fine-tune my television to not do that. It's really annoying.
That sucks.
It's a very well-made proto-slasher.
I like that one, too. That is, I watched that for the first time. No, I'm sorry. I watched a decent copy that you sent me. I had not seen a very good copy of it ever. And I was really impressed. So I think I've seen it a couple times. It definitely stuck with me the second time. It's a damn good movie. I wish Francis Ford Coppola would make some more movies. What's he doing?
Yes.
What's he doing? Making wine?
No one ever heard from him after this film.
Just the Black Stallion.
Just the Black Stallion. Can you really say just the Black Stallion?
The Black Stallion 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, that was a disappointment.
Electric Horseshoe. The Death of the Old Salesman by Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, memories.
I just referenced a show I don't remember of ours. I don't know what episode that was from.
I have no idea, but I remember that being the payoff.
Oh, crap. What did I pick for 1963? I bet you know.
Tell us. Tell us now. I bet I know.
Let's hear it. What do you think it is?
The Haunting.
I do like The Haunting, but I picked The Ghost.
Ooh.
Just because Ricardo Frida needs another shout out and some more love.
Absolutely.
Even though he's dead.
He is dead, sadly.
I love The Ghost. Barbara Steele is amazing. It's just a fun movie that I keep chasing around, hoping one day it'll finally have a really, really good copy. The DVD that I have is a split with The Ghosts of London? Or no, sorry, The Dead Eyes of London.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
And Man Oh Man. That's just seeing it in widescreen and not full frame was very important, but we could use a better copy, people.
Oh, yeah. With a Tim Lucas commentary.
Oh, yeah. Man, there you go. Horrible Dr. Hitchcock and The Ghost. Blu-rays with Tim Lucas commentary. Holy crap, that'd be awesome.
Yes, absolutely. Nice choice.
Oh, thank you. I tried not to do all Italian movies on this list of ours, or mine.
I only have one Italian horror film.
Oh, that's
I
good.
tried to think outside the box a little bit, and plus I didn't want to double your choices.
Oh, you see, that's good. You're good. You're thinking about the show.
Well, I try.
I've never thought about the show, ever. I'm selfish.
You are the show.
I'm shellfish. What is your choice for 64 of the 19?
Speak of the devil, it's Antonio Margheriti's Castle of Blood.
Hell yes.
Barbara still making her third appearance in our collective lists.
Nice.
It tells the tale of one young Edgar Allan Poe who bets a man that he can't go stay in this house, but the man does. And all these images and scenes from the past come, and I'll leave it at that for those who haven't seen it, but it is an excellent Italian Gothic horror film.
What was it Web of the Spider? Was the other one? The remake of that?
It's the remake, yes, which I watched. All right, I have a gas station bought copy of that in full frame. Terrible pan and scan. And I have a download of the widescreen, but it's only in Italian. So one day when I was sick and Elizabeth didn't have to fool with it, I watched the Italian widescreen. I believe, let's see. Oh, I can't think. There's a famous actress that plays the Barbara Steele part in the second one. I can't think who it is.
I'll look it up.
Look it up for us. But, of course, it didn't make any sense to me because it was in Italian, and I don't speak Italian.
Well, now you tell me.
Yeah, really, I've been bullshitting my way through it.
Was it Michelle Mercier?
Yes, it was.
What was
Yes,
she
it was.
in?
Something else. Famous.
Black Sabbath. And
There you go.
And Casanova 70. She was in something called Magnet of Doom. Shoot the Piano Player.
Ooh, Shoot the Piano Player. That's a Truffaut.
There you go. Bam. Truffaut, bam.
But I've actually heard some people say they prefer Web of the Spider. It stars Anthony Francioso from Tenebrae.
Oh, yeah.
But no, Castle of Blood. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. That is not one of your favorite Barbara Steele Gothic films.
No, I do appreciate the movie, but it's out of all that Italian Gothic cycle. For some reason, that one has not clicked with me just yet. But I have.
No, it's totally understandable.
I have that DVD that somebody put out. Who put that out?
Was it Severin? I don't know. I've got it too. I can see it, but it's Synapse.
Hey, Synapse. I got my copy.
Interesting.
I got my copy used from a store, and apparently it was sitting in the window for a really long time. The cover is completely faded out. It's funny.
Wow. It's interesting that you say that because the one that never clicked for me was Nightmare Castle.
Oh, yeah. God, I like that one. Yeah.
I thought they put out a really nice DVD, and I can't tell from where I'm sitting who did it, but it was a really nice DVD, and it put a lot of footage back in, and I just thought it was too long. Now, with that being said, I would love to give it another go, but that one, to me, didn't click well.
Was that Retro Media?
I don't know, maybe. I can see it.
What was was it Castle of Blood, or was it a different title?
Nightmare Castle.
Nightmare Castle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the one that didn't click with me. But it's got I believe maybe The Ring took a little inspiration from that. Maybe not, but there's some definite Barbara Steele ringiness going on.
Oh, yeah, that hair hanging in her face, no doubt.
She plays twins once again in a throwback to Black Sunday.
Oh, yeah. I picked something from 1964 as well.
Okay.
I picked The Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies.
I've not seen that.
Ray Dennis Steckler. If you told me that I dreamed this movie, I would believe you. It is probably the strangest horror film from the 60s. It is so messed up and bizarre. Like, you need to see this. It's just crazy. I don't know, like, it's kind of hard to put into words. It's like a rock and roll nightmare, and all of the acting is hilarious. Like, everyone's post-dubbed, to the best of my knowledge, and it's fucking hilarious. I recommend it, especially if you're in the
Very
mood,
interesting.
if you're in the mood for something strange.
I'm always in the mood for something strange.
Mm-hmm. What do you got for 65, man?
1965, I have a little film called The Skull.
Ooh.
Amicus title, one of their few films that's not a portmanteau film. It's not an anthology film. Freddie Francis directed it. It centers upon Peter Cushing, who acquires the skull of the Marquis de Sade and what happens surrounding that.
Mm-hmm.
Big swaths of the film. There's no speaking. Very, very good film. Very atmospheric.
I finally saw that for the first time, and I really liked it a lot.
No, that's why I bought it. I'd seen it, but then I came across it pretty cheap, and I'm like, oh, Richard liked this, so I'm going to buy it, because I like to base all of my financial decisions upon what Richard would or would not do.
Me too. For me, for 1965, there was only one choice, and that was Terror Creatures from the Grave.
Oh, see, and I almost mentioned that earlier when we were talking about Nightmare Castle.
This is the Barbara Steele show. Yeah, I love this movie. Love it. It's not a strong Italian Gothic movie. It's not like a classic by any means. But it really stuck with me, and it's really fun. It's like when you need more Italian Gothic stuff with Barbara Steele. Like you've done The Long Hair of Death, and you've done the Nightmare Castle and the Castle of Blood and the Ghost and the horrible Dr. Hitchcock. Man, you gotta have it. Gotta have more, and Terror Creatures is waiting for you.
I like Terror Creatures. Elizabeth does not like it.
She'll get over it. She'll learn to love it one day.
Maybe.
But let's not make her do it. Let's let her find it on her own.
Let's let it happen naturally.
Oh, man. Do you want to just stop doing this and watch some Breaking Bad?
No, I do not.
Do you want to watch some Walking Dead with me?
I would.
Oh, okay. Well, let's keep recording the show anyway.
Let's do it anyway.
Do you want to watch the fan video I made of Knights of the Round Table? I mean, Game of Throats.
Game of Throats. Game of Pricks.
Hey, that guy dies. I spoiled Game of Thrones. Haha.
Oh, boy.
Look, then run for your life. Incredible is the word for the world's first monster musical. See in magnificent Eastman color, the daring, dancing, enticing, and horrifying, the incredibly strange creatures who stopped living and became mixed-up zombies. From the innocence of music and laughter comes the twilight of terror. Along the midway, scantily clad dancers luring the young lovers into the sideshows.
What do you got for 1966?
I've got a strange film named Chamber of Horrors. Have you seen it?
Oh, man. Chamber of Horrors. Is that a Boris Karloff?
No, sir. It is a no one film.
Oh,
There's
no,
not
I've
really
never heard of
anybody
it.
famous in it. It is about this. I've only seen it once, but it really made an impression upon me. There's a guy that has been killing his wives, and he takes an assumed name, and these two sleuths are out to get him, but he hides out in like a wax museum.
Huh.
It was a really entertaining film. It took some twists and turns that I did not expect. Track that one down, I think.
I will. That poster's
I think you did.
amazing.
Yeah, it's got the cleaver hand.
Yeah.
Cleaver arm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I have never heard of that.
It was one that it was in a pack with another film. I can't remember what right at this very moment. But it was a lot of fun. We watched it. 66 is a tough year. That was actually the toughest year for me to pick. Because there were a lot of good horror films in the areas that we could not choose from. Like Hammer and whatnot.
Yeah.
So my alternate for 66, which I will reveal after we're done, will be of much interest to you.
Oh, baby.
Unless you picked it. There's no way you picked my alternate for 66. There's no way. We'll see.
All right. My choice for 1966 is a little movie called The Witch. Also known as La Strega in Amore. It is a Italian... Here on Wikipedia, it says it's a Italian drama-horror film. It is definitely a quiet horror film. It slowly reveals itself. Richard Johnson, who we know from Lucio Fulci's Zombie, among other things,
right,
is in this. It's just super offbeat. And when I was scouring Amazon.com for Italian horror films, I found The Witch, and I just really liked it. This is a really super offbeat movie.
It is a slow burn.
It's very long. It's a slow burn. It is directed by Damiano Damiani.
Mm-hmm.
I love people with names like that. That's just great. He's got echolalia of the name. What did you choose for 1967?
I picked a film entitled The Shuttered Room.
Ooh.
Which is a British horror film. It has a small appearance, or a supporting appearance from Oliver Reed. I think it stars Carol Lindley. It is almost a Lovecraft tale. First of all, have you seen this, The Shuttered Room?
Oh, yeah.
Very atmospheric as well. The Lovecraft sensibilities kind of fall apart towards the end, but it's very creepy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Oh, it's a good one. It's a very good one. It's the title is taken from Lovecraft. How much of the story is Lovecraft, I can't remember. But no, it's a very good movie. I watched that probably within the last couple of years, and I was really taken with it. I think that might have been my second viewing, and I was quite impressed with it. I have that on DVD.
Do you have that with It?
I sure do. Double feature, y'all.
Yes. It was a lot of fun, too, although it was ridiculous.
It!
Where they call out, they like nuclear bomb the golem. It's crazy.
It happens.
Well, it's a documentary.
Oh, man.
I should hope so. I should hope it happened.
Oh, shit.
What do you have for 1967?
I have Even the Wind is Afraid by Carlos Enrique Taboada.
Really?
Which someone recommended I watch. I think you recommended I watch that, Brad.
I believe it was me.
Folks at home, you need to see Even the Wind is Afraid. They just made a remake of it that I have not read anything good about yet.
Right.
But the original is quite a superb ghost movie. Nice haunted house flick for you. It's a girls' school, secluded, which always make the best pornos. I mean, horror movies. My bad. All right, man. 1968.
1968. Apparently there was some confusion because for 1968 I have Even the Wind is Afraid.
Oh, shit. I went by... Did I mess up? Let me see.
No.
Let me see.
Because I've also seen it listed as 69.
Oh.
So apparently there is a great deal of confusion.
Did you use IMDb or did you use the wiki?
I use Wikipedia.
Huh, okay. Yeah. Hey, we can talk about it more.
Exactly. This is a brilliant film. This is one that I was like, where have you been all my life? Or at least for the past decade. He is a super talented director. He did another film called Blacker Than the Night, which is amazing. They're both amazing.
Yeah, Blacker Than the Night. We'll do that on a podcast, man.
Yes.
Maybe this one.
Yes, please. Maybe this one. Maybe this will turn into Blacker Than the Night. Even the Wind is Afraid is amazing. Everything you said is true and more. It would be a great double feature with La Residencia or even Suspiria.
Oh, yeah. Love it. I was very generic for 1968, and I picked Night of the Living Dead.
Excellent.
Because, you know, that movie is just classic. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir when I put any praise on that movie. So it's just something I love, and I recently got the best DVD of it.
I did too.
Which is that frickin' Image disc.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Why can't anyone release Night of the Living Dead properly? Like, it seems so obvious. Like, it seems so... Here it is.
Because there's so many copies out there already that people are like, they're not going to go buy the one that costs money.
I don't know, man. I was willing to shell out for a Blu-ray.
I was too. Well, there is a Blu-ray, but I don't know who does it.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything good about it, so...
It was me. I put it out.
Is that because you could afford to?
That's because I couldn't afford not to.
People need to see this shit! Wow, man, we're almost done with our decade. We're up to get to our alternates pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have for 1969?
For 1969, I have a film that I was somewhat aware of, but had not seen until someone wrote into the show. I do not remember who. And that is The Haunted House of Horror, which is about as generic of a title as you can find. But it is a proto-slasher.
Oh, yeah.
Starring Frankie Avalon, of all people.
Wow.
British-made film. This group of teenagers go out to this abandoned mansion. Somebody gets killed. They can't find out who. They leave. They come back. More people get killed. Excellent film. Excellent film. I would highly recommend it.
Nice. I've tried watching that and I never got very far. I will definitely give it a fair shake next time.
You should. I think you'd like it if you got into it. There's a lot of teenage partying at the first before they get to the dreaded Haunted House of Horror.
Man, that title is pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
It makes it hard to remember what it is.
Yes.
Nice.
The Scary House on the Hill.
The movie is here.
For 69. What do you have for 69?
I have chosen a movie you mentioned very briefly. La Residencia.
I suspected as much.
A.K.A. The House That Screamed. By Narciso Ibanez Serrador. Holy shit, people. Like, yes, it's another girls' school scary movie I picked. I don't have that. That's not a thing. Okay, I'm not into that stuff.
Right?
Well, maybe I am. But
I am.
Hey, this is a superb film that I just can't get enough of. It's just fantastic movie. Highly recommended. It is so bleak and so cruelly wonderful.
There are some good copies of it floating around on the internets.
Yeah. Hell, I even like the Shout Factory one with Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Ooh. That was actually one of the first bootlegs that I bought. I read the description on the company page.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this sounds like I need to own it. And I was right.
Score
and that
one
is actually... Exactly. That's actually my alternate for 1969. I didn't pick it because I had a suspicion that you would.
Oh, yeah. We're always picking each other's things.
Scabs, mostly.
Ugh. I was hoping that we could
Gross.
leave that to the imagination. So, to give us an out, because I knew some years would be very difficult to not,
right.
to choose just one film. So, we have some runners-up. Why don't you go through your runners-up, sir?
Okay, I'll just pick out the ones that aren't obvious.
Yeah.
I can. 69 was The House That Screamed / La Residencia. 67 would be The Fearless Vampire Killers, which is Polanski's pastiche parody of a Hammer horror film. Which it's a really good film. 1966, the one that I said that would be of interest to you, I picked Picture Mommy Dead.
Yeah.
Which is, you sent me that, and it's a lot of fun. I wouldn't mind seeing that again. That was fun.
It's a light movie, but it's very good.
Yeah. 64, I picked The Last Man on Earth as my alternate, which is the Vincent Price I Am Legend film. 62, I picked Night of the Eagle, which is also known as Burn Witch Burn. It's about a college professor and his wife, and there's some witchcraft going on. To say any more would be to spoil it.
Interesting.
It's a black and white, and it's a nice little horror film. And for 61, I picked William Castle's Homicidal.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a really fun...
That almost made my list of alternates.
Yeah, it's one of Castle's Psycho knockoffs, really.
I love it.
But it's a lot of fun. And then my other ones from those years are just ones that, like for 68, I'd picked Rosemary's Baby. 63, The Haunting. 65, Repulsion.
Nice.
60, I picked a film. I don't know if you've heard of this one from 60. It's Psycho.
No.
Yeah, not a lot of people have. Those are my alternates. Probably the best alternate out of all those. The ones that I mentioned first would be probably La Residencia.
Yeah.
Or
okay.
Night of the Eagle's really good.
Okay, defend a film from your alternates.
Defend a film?
Fearless Vampire Killers.
Defend it?
Yes, defend it from me.
Okay.
Or to me.
Polanski stars in it and directs it as well.
Mm-hmm.
He plays somewhat of a Jonathan Harker type.
Right.
Sharon Tate is in it, and Sharon Tate is very good looking. This was before she got murdered.
Oh boy.
There's the probably cinema's first out and out instance of a gay vampire, which is pretty funny. Some would say that Count, I can't think of his name, from The Brides of Dracula is a gay vampire, but this dude is obviously a gay vampire. It's funny. I like the setting. It takes place in the snow. I like that. I like the alternate title quite a bit. Pardon me, but your teeth are in my neck. It's a fun film. I wouldn't demand that you saw it.
Oh, I've
or
seen
that you
it.
see it. And my second part is that I wouldn't, like, if you're like, it just bored me to tears, I'd be like, yeah, okay. I mean, I wouldn't fight you at all on it. I think it's fun.
Yeah. You make a good case for it. But one thing you've learned about me, I hate fun.
That's true. Someone today asked me something about you, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to do that. They were like, why? I'm like, oh, I've got a whole list of things that I don't push on Richard.
Right.
Like, if he runs into it organically and likes it, but there's just certain things that I just won't push on it. You know?
Yeah, that movie just, it just annoys me to tears. I don't know what my problem is. I need to stop being lame.
No, there's nothing to be lame about.
Hold on a second, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I just scared Leanna to death. I was just
sitting there recording.
I was leaning out the
Window?
door here, and I saw she was turning the movie down, and I was like, "Oh, she's turning it down." So I waited until she turned it down. Then I said, "Thank you," and she's like, "Ah!" Sorry. She's very engrossed in The Fifth Element right now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Matthew and I went to the theater and saw that.
I saw it in theaters, and it was so funny. I hated it because of when the alien chick started hip hop dancing at her big opera moment.
Right.
The blue chick. I hate it. Like, that turned me against that movie for years. Until
I couldn't even tell you if it was a good movie or not. I hold a special place in my heart.
It's a great movie. I've gotten over that, but that scene is still makes me wince when she's singing her opera and it's really pretty, and all of a sudden it's like the Janet Jackson beat kicks in and she starts like hip hop dancing. It's so bad. So
that's the first time I
stupid.
remember seeing Mila Jovanovic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how she was introduced to us. Americans. And
she put out an album of music, and I listened to it.
Oh yeah, Nafa's got that album.
Yeah, The Divine Comedy, I think is what it's called.
Yep. It's definitely music.
I don't remember anything about that either. She was attractive.
Oh, she's
I remember that.
God, yes. So yeah, I got some alternates here. Let's see. For 1963, I have The Virgin of Nuremberg.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's a Christopher Lee Italian Gothic movie.
Yeah, that's one I'm always threatening to do for Fang of Joy, and then I don't.
You should. You should do it. It's a freaking fun movie. It's very strange. There's just something
Margarita,
off about
is it not?
Yeah, it's Margarita. Margarita.
That's what I thought.
Margarita. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Man.
I keep talking over you because this stupid delay on the phone. What were you saying?
No. Oh, Elizabeth loves Antonio Margheriti. She loved him before, but she especially loves him because of Inglourious Bastards, because sometimes she'll say, Antonio Margheriti!
Oh, man. Girolami.
Well, gosh.
Thank you, Quentin Tarantino, for that.
You're welcome, QT.
You magnificent son of a bitch.
Oh.
So, also from 1963, I have Matango, or the Mushroom People. What is that?
Oh, that's Japanese, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the...
Godzilla versus the Mushroom People.
Yeah, it's Attack of the Mushroom People from 1963. It almost was my favorite film for 1963. It is really fantastic. It's offbeat to the point of insanity, with moments of genuine creepiness that's just unsettling, and a great ending. So if you haven't seen Matango, give it a shot. It's really good.
I have not seen it.
I recommend it.
My dad was born in 1958, and you can't say that he wasn't because you weren't there.
I don't know. I might tell him.
He wouldn't believe you.
Me neither. 1962, one of my alternates was The Brain That Wouldn't Die.
Ah, interesting.
Which they make fun of on very well. Classic Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode. But I like the movie on its own. It is really, really stupid. But the iconic imagery of the woman's severed head in the tray throughout the movie, the tray of blood.
I haven't seen it, but I want to.
You should, man. I really enjoy it. It's really a fine movie. I mean, well, it's terrible.
It sounds exciting.
You'll like it.
Right.
Let's see. 1967, I have The Shuttered Room, which we talked about.
Ooh. Yes.
Yeah, I really dig that one a lot. I have two from 1968, both Japanese, and both are in the box set that Criterion put out. One is The Living Skeleton, which I highly, highly recommend. And the other one is Gokey, Body Snatcher from Hell, which I highly recommend that too. That's good stuff. In fact, that box set, it's the When Horror Came to Shochiku.
Oh yeah,
box set. That's a good one. I'm not a big fan of one of the films on there. Not Holocaust. Genocide. That movie on there is kind of
yeah.
But you've got The Living Skeleton, Gokey, Body Snatcher from Hell, and The X from Outer Space. 3 great movies right there. That was all my alternates.
Good job.
Oh, thank you.
This was my father's world, Mr. Barnett. The shrieking of mutilated victims became the music of his life. The blood of 1,000 men and women was spilled within these walls. Limbs twisted and broken, flesh burned black.
Starring Vincent Price, truly a master of the macabre. John Carr in a challenging role. Barbara Steele, more blood-chilling than in Black Sunday. And introducing taunting Luana Anders.
Nicholas.
Elizabeth? While we were up here mourning her, she was alive. Struggling to be free.
You are lying, sir. When Maria screamed, where were you? You lie!
I'm going to torture you, Isabella. I'm going to make you suffer for your faithlessness to me.
You harlot!
All the violence of angry seas. The unseen forces of the unknown. The unforgettable memories of a long-forgotten childhood. All these you will feel in your very blood.
Do you know where you are, Bartholomew? You are about to enter hell.
The next mission on this episode is for us to rank the Roger Corman Poe movies.
Right.
Because Roger Corman really knew how to bring the Edgar Allan Poe loosely based adaptations to the screen.
Right.
Sometimes he'd do multiple stories of Edgar Allan Poe in one movie. And it was very hard to just talk about the 1960s without talking about the 8 films that we're about to talk about.
Exactly.
How shall we proceed, sir? Do you want to do your 8 to 1?
Okay.
And then I'll do mine.
Excellent. My number 8 film is The Raven. It is a horror comedy that is neither very good at either. It's fun to watch, but it's just not that good, really.
Yeah.
You've got Boris Karloff, Peter Lorre, Vincent Price, Jack Nicholson. just not really that good. It's not much of an adaptation of The Raven, actually. It's about 2 sorcerers that fight each other, Vincent Price being the hero for a change. And Vincent Price is very good. Well, they're all really quite good. It's just the screenplay doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, if you've got it, watch it. But it's not going to be one you return to, I wouldn't think. Number 7 would be Tales of Terror, which I do like, because after The Raven, really, spoiler alert, I don't think there are any bad films other than The Raven.
Yeah.
I just don't like Tales of Terror. It's a portmanteau film, anthology film. The one that everybody seems to really like is the middle segment, which I think is the weakest, with Peter Lorre and Vincent Price. I like the first segment a lot, and of course the third one's got Basil Rathbone in it. He was trying to do something different at the time. I think for the most part it works. I have a lot of trouble, or have had a lot of trouble with comedy in horror films in the past. The comedy in the middle section, Peter Lorre, it really doesn't work for me. I think the opening, which is The Haunting of Marilla, I think it works. It's like it's like Pit and the Pendulum or The Fall of the House of Usher, just condensed into probably a 20-minute section. Number 6 is not even a Poe film at all. It's really based upon H.P. Lovecraft's The Strange Case of Charles Dexter Ward, and that is The Haunted Palace.
Mm-hmm.
It's Vincent Price, and is it Deborah Paget? I think it's Deborah Paget. Very attractive woman. Where they go back to the ancestral home, and the spirit of his ancestor takes over his body. It's got a very, very, very strong performance from Lon Chaney Jr. that I'm sure we'll discuss in a moment when we get to your list. It's a good one. Very atmospheric. Very.
Oh, yeah.
Elisha Cook Jr.'s in it. My number 5 that's going to shock everyone is Mask of the Red Death.
Ooh.
Truth be told, it's probably the most well-made film on the list. It's just not one of my favorites. It never has been. I've always felt a little guilty about it. I know that you like that one quite a bit. Elizabeth likes that one quite a bit. A lot of folks do. I think it's a fantastic film. It's just when I watch these films, it's just not the one that I go to. Number 4 is the only film on the list that does not have Vincent Price, and that would be The Premature Burial with Ray Milland. I've always really liked it. It's about a man that's terrified of being buried alive, and he constructs a crypt, an above-ground crypt, with all these gadgets that would help him get out of there in case he was buried alive. I think it's one of the best. I really do. A lot of people see it as it was not intended to be an AIP film, which is why there's no Vincent Price. And at the last minute, AIP swooped in and bought the rights. I think that if you have to have a substitute for Vincent Price, Ray Milland is more than capable. It's one that I really enjoy. Number 3 is The Tomb of Ligeia. It's the last one of the cycle. What a fantastic film all the way around. Corman had come a long way with his direction skills. It's also one of 2 to be filmed in England, the other one being The Mask of the Red Death. If you're going to cap off the Corman Poe series, that was the way to go. Vince Price plays Verdon Fell, who wears some very iconic sunglasses throughout most of the film. It's a lot of fun too. Number 2 would be The Fall of the House of Usher.
Nice.
It is actually the first film in the series. I love the first 2 films unashamedly. When I think of the Corman Poe films, I either want to watch that or The Pit and the Pendulum first. Those are the first 2 that come to mind. Richard Matheson did the scripts, and basically the third act of both films is the real adaptation of the Poe stories. But there wasn't enough material to turn into like an hour and 20 minutes.
Right.
So the first 2 acts Matheson came up with on his own. I'll go ahead and say my number 1 film is The Pit and the Pendulum with Barbara Steele.
Nice.
One of her few American appearances in the Gothic cycle. She'd worked with Bava, then she went on to work with Corman, then she went back and did some of the films that we discussed earlier. These 2 really, to be honest with you, tie for number 1. I've got Pitt first. I've got the Steelbook, the Arrow Steelbooks of both. I've not seen the Arrow Steelbook of Usher yet, but The Pit and the Pendulum has a very informative commentary from Tim Lucas. But like I said, when I think of the Corman Poe films, these are the 2 that I think of first. They are somewhat, and I say this non-disparagingly, they're somewhat of the same story. Yeah. An outsider comes into an ancestral home, disturbs the status quo. There's a family history. I can only imagine what a 10-year-old kid thought in 1960 and 61, 62, I can't remember, going to the theater and seeing these films. And I've read many times in Stephen King's Danse Macabre about how when certain things are unearthed in Pit and the Pendulum, how everyone just screamed. And I bet it's true.
Yeah.
It is amazing to think, and this somewhat ties back into something that we discussed in the last show about how Corman was churning out black and white quickies for AIP, and he said, hey, why don't you give me twice the budget and I'll make one color film? Well, the talent on display was just unbelievable. You had the cinematographer, Floyd Crosby, who incidentally is David Crosby's father. As time went on, they could reuse sets and redress them and punch them up to where they would look different. I think in any comprehensive horror list, I think there's got to be one from this series in everybody's favorites list and their top 20.
Right. Good point.
Just amazing. Yeah, just amazing. Vincent Price. I enjoyed him as a kid, but the older I got, I was turned on more to, more gory films, the slasher films and whatnot. And it's really only been within the last, I want to say 5 years, since I've known you, really, that I came back around and really began to appreciate as an adult the work of Vincent Price. He is the master of horror. I think that when you think of horror actors, he has to be one of the first two you think of. Maybe Boris Karloff's in there, maybe Lugosi. But I think Price is definitely one of the first ones you think of. I've got the 2 Steelbooks, then I've got the 2 Scream Factory Vincent Price sets on Blu-ray, and then I've got Arrow's supremely nice Dr. Phibe set, which I've not taken a look at yet. I'm too excited to, but really, I think it's kind of a realization as you get older as to some of the, I say simpler, and I don't mean that disparagingly either, but just the way things used to be.
Yeah.
The Grand Guignol, the low budget of everything, but they made it look good. But yeah, that's my top 8. Number 1, Pit and the Pendulum, but really that could be swapped with Usher.
Nice. Well, my list, it's funny, the first 3 were just like yours. My number 8 is The Raven.
Yeah.
I just kind of hate this movie. It's like, even for Vincent Price and Peter Lorre and Roger Corman and all of them, even them goofing around and looks like they're having a good time. And Boris Karloff too. It looks like shit. The movie is so sloppy. I just don't like it. Number 7 also, I chose Tales of Terror. Totally agree with what you said about which are the better stories. Number 6, Haunted Palace. I love me some H.P. Lovecraft. This movie's a little sleepy, a little slow. It is a little sleepy. But I do, especially Lon Chaney Jr., he's really fun in it. And I like when H.P. Lovecraft is adapted and done well, and I think it's done well there. Number 5, Premature
Absolutely.
Burial. Having it where it is on my list does not mean it won't move up in my estimation. My recent watching of it for this show, I really, really liked it. I'm not a big Ray Milland fan, but he's excellent in that. Just you can't take your eyes off him. He's so good. Number 4, I have House of Usher, which is, man. The next 4 are like choosing between my children at this point. House of Usher, I just love it. It's really good. Love Mark Damon. Love those big giant teeth.
Giant teeth.
Oh, yeah. Number 3, I also had Tomb of Ligeia, which I finally watched for the first time recently. I thought I'd seen it, and I had not seen it. Loved it. It's, man, it jumped right up there. It's really good. Number 2 is Pit and the Pendulum. This is a film I did not appreciate, even with Barbara Steele. The first time, I didn't see why it was so special. I didn't like it. I don't like the whole pocket pendulum thing. I think it was a fad. I think people in their pocket pendulums are silly.
Right.
That's a reference to our Torture Chamber of Dr. Sadism episode. Couldn't resist. But I just watched it again today, and I friggin' loved it again. It's surprisingly great. I wish Barbara Steele was in it more, but then every movie needed more Barbara Steele. The hero of the movie is John Kerr.
Yes, sir.
I can't stand that fucking guy. What an annoying jackass. Like, there's a couple of bad actors in that movie, like people that are not so hot, like Luana Anders, who I'm using IMDb here, so Anthony Carbone, these are Patrick Westwood. I'm just reading everyone in the cast. No, John Kerr, he's so obnoxious.
He is. You're right.
I don't
Absolutely.
know. Ugh. He might be good in other stuff, but I'm not.
No, I doubt it.
Not in that movie. Okay,
I think that if I remember correctly from the commentary, he pretty much resented being in the film.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do. Resent being in the film and then be shitty in it for the world to watch for the next 50 years.
Pretty much for me, the only thing that could improve that film is if they just had Mark Damon play that part. That would have been all right with me.
Oh, fuck yeah, it would be better.
But yeah, no, I'm totally with you.
And my number one is Mask of the Red Death. Still my favorite of the Corman pose. Still a huge, huge favorite of mine from when I was a kid. Just magic. Like,
it's a great film.
So dark and so strange. I don't want to find out what happens when you die of the purple death or the yellow death or the green death or the blue death. Or the chartreuse death.
Ooh, the worst.
Hey. So we have ranked the Corman pose, sir.
I'm sure maybe we'll get some feedback on that.
Yeah, please.
People saying, you're crazy. I love the Raven. I doubt it.
Yeah, that'll be the letter.
Yeah.
Do you want to take a break or want to just move right into Attack Defendal?
Well, I'd like to move right on. I've got two things that I'd like to say before that.
Oh, sure.
If you don't mind. One, I did receive in the post this week Troy Howarth's Giallo book, which is fantastic.
Oh, snap.
Very, very well done. Congratulations, Troy. Elizabeth looked through it this afternoon before we started recording, and she said, wow, this book, I love Giallos. Wow, this is good. And she commented that it's not only would be a good and will be a good resource for us who have seen many, many Gialli, but also for the beginner because he does not spoil things.
Good.
I'm sure we've all had a night with spaghetti nightmares where they ruined something for us. And contrary to spaghetti nightmares, Troy does actually like a few Gialli, so that's good as well.
All right.
Yeah. But I would highly recommend his book. I would highly recommend, if you've not, to go back and listen to Richard's interview with Mr. Howarth. Second, I spoke with David Person this week. He's a friend of the show, and I'd just like to give him a shout out because he's a cool guy. So, David Person.
Hell
okay.
Yes. Yeah, I'll say we're going to Attack Defendal. This is Brad's creation. How does it work, Brad?
Yep. Well, I've got a list of films here that I had lost, but I have found since. And I throw some titles out there and let you attack them or defend them. It's just a fun way to get to know your host a little bit better. I'm going to start with Poltergeist, Attack or Defend.
Man, that's a controversial one. I don't know how I feel about that movie. How about this? We'll say defend because I would like to watch it again. But attack because I feel like I overdid it watching it as a kid.
Interesting. Poltergeist is one that I would either mildly attack or mildly defend. I prefer the third film, which is ridiculous.
I still need to see that. I mean,
seriously, you've not seen Poltergeist 3? Okay, again.
Yeah, I saw it as a kid, but I do not remember it at all.
I thought it was the scariest of the three, for me anyway.
And you said it was like an Italian horror film.
It is like an Italian horror film of that period. Creepshow, Attack or Defend, Richard.
Ooh, oh man. God, you picking some classics here. Kind of same answer. Kind of an attack and a defend. Like, I just don't like it that much, but I kind of recognize that it's got great moments. Yeah, kind of another right down the middle of the road.
Okay. Christine, Attack or Defend?
Okay. If you had asked me this a few years ago, I would have said Attack. I did not like that movie for a long time. But revisiting it very recently, within the last couple of years, I will defend it. I like that movie.
Really?
Yeah. I did not care for it. For some reason, I harped on the differences between the book and the movie for a long time. Now I don't give a shit about Stephen King, so I like the movie. Because John Carpenter is awesome.
Excellent. I would not defend that very strongly. I think it's minor Carpenter, and I love Carpenter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do.
Okay, here's one. The Hunger. Attack or Defend?
The Hunger. I totally defend The Hunger. That is a wild, wild movie. Very 80s. Very goth. But it's just a beautifully made movie. Very, very strange. Young Susan Sarandon is sexy, even with a terrible haircut. Good stuff.
Okay. I think we're going to do two more. I'm going to step outside the box here and go with a nod to my girl. She knows who she is. Blair Witch 2, Attack or Defend.
What?
Book of Shadows. Blair Witch 2.
I'm sorry,
Book
you're breaking
of
up.
Shadows.
Did you say Blair Witch 2?
Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. Yes.
No, you're fine.
Absolutely defend that movie. I never would have suspected that was something I enjoy. But Lieta, my wife, she enjoys that. Had it on tape, and she says, "Why don't you want to watch Book of Shadows?" And I said, "Oh, because I've heard it's terrible." She said, "It's not terrible. It's great." And lo and behold, I really like that movie. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I've told the story before, but Matthew and I went to see it figuring it would not be very good, and we called it Book of Crap. But I said let's do one for my girl, and that was for Lieta.
Nice.
I would not be averse to watching it again. I think it could be misunderstood. It's
definitely set up poorly by that stupid first movie. No.
Right.
No, the second movie is just, they definitely try to do something different. And
they did, and people usually want that, but they punished it for it.
Yeah, but it's just bizarre, and there's a lot of great stuff in it. And it's, just watch it, people, if you haven't already. It's something else.
Right.
Yeah.
For my last one, I'm going to say Stuart Gordon's Dolls, Attack or Defend.
Oh, Defend. Yeah, that's a fun one. That's not a favorite or anything, but
right.
I do enjoy that movie. It is very odd, and it is kind of terrifying in parts. Kind of like even the characters you don't like, when they meet their grisly fates, it's like, holy shit, you feel bad for them. It's so bad.
If I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that pretty much an Italian film crew that did that with him?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That concludes this episode's Attack You Defend All.
Wait a minute. Did you attack or defend either The Hunger or Dolls? I didn't hear your response to those.
Dolls I would definitely defend.
Cool.
I would like to get that Scream Factory Blu-ray when it gets a little cheaper. The Hunger I have not seen in years. I did not care for it. I did love the opening with Bela Lugosi's Dead by Bauhaus, because I used to really like Bauhaus. Yeah. But I haven't seen it in probably since the 90s. So it would be hard for me to say one way or another. Blair Witch 2, I would give another shot for sure. It's almost... bless you.
Thank you.
I'm not going to say it's on the same level and have people get angry at me, but it's almost a Halloween 3 situation where if they didn't talk about the Blair Witch, if it was just some witch, I think it would have been better received.
Wow.
What is our next episode between you and I, Richard, you and I and all our friends?
Well, Brad, I'm going to keep it a surprise.
Okay.
And it's not because I don't know what we're doing next. I do know what we're doing next. But I'm going to say, we almost spoiled it, but I had to edit it out last time.
Oh, did you edit that out?
I'm going to, yeah. So don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It hasn't happened yet.
Okay, I will say this. I'll give you guys a clue. The movie came out in 2001. And
none of you own it.
None of you own it. None of you are going to want to watch it before the episode.
No.
And Jeffrey picked it because he's awesome.
Right.
And he wanted revenge for Brad choosing Bloodsucker Leads the Dance as a joke, and I took seriously.
Right. Not really my fault, but
not your fault. Not your fault. And the absolute last thing I'll say about it is that we're going to be watching the unrated director's cut, or the uncut version.
The uncut cut.
Yeah. So that's the clue. Now what we're going to do next time you hear Brad and I talk about stuff.
Absolutely. Very exciting. We have actually got plans for this year, and this is part of it.
Unlike other years where we have 1 million episodes planned, we're going to do 500,000 of them this year.
Exactly.
Thanks for listening, folks.
We appreciate it.
Brad, that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I drew up an upside-down pentagram on my notes while we were talking, and I wrote,
Ooh.
666, Satan, the devil, old stick.
See, this is not an episode with Jeffrey, it's Brad.
Hello? Who is this?
I didn't watch Satan's Blood.
This is the most boring prank call ever, asshole. Or the most exciting.
If you would like to contact Hello, this is The Doomed Show. Please email us at doomedmoviethong@gmail.com or check us out at facebook.com/HelloDoomedShow. We are also on Twitter. Sorry about that. @DoomedMovieThong. #HelloDoomedShow. For the old ass episodes that you missed, find our archived episodes at doomedmoviethong.com. Don't forget to eat fruit and veggies.
Uncommon Interest, a podcast where I, your host, Craig Chaos, plays you some kick-ass music. I talk about some comics and movies that are a little off the beaten path that you should definitely check out. So stop on by and give a listen at uncommoninterest.libsyn.com.
Your balls are showing.
Uncommon Interest.
Hello, my name is Rod Barnett.
I'm Troy Gwynn.
And we are your genial co-hosts for NashyCast, the podcast about the films of Paul Naschy. If you don't know who Paul Naschy is, you need to learn.
Spanish horror icon, writer, director, actor, makeup artist.
He is all of these things and more. Paul Naschy, one of the greatest genre filmmakers of all time. Do titles like Horror Rises from the Tomb,
Vengeance of the Mummy, Werewolf Shadow,
House of Psychotic Women,
Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll,
Mark of the Werewolf make you want to see more?
Watch the film, then come hear our stunning, brilliant commentary.
Stunning and brilliant. That's us. Think that's too egotistical? Think that sounds silly? Think we come off as assholes?
Look, if nothing else, let us tell you this. Blood, nudity, beautiful women, werewolves and turtlenecks.
Nipples. Lots of nipples. Both male and female. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's going to want to listen to us after this, man. Find us at The Bloody Pit of Rod, or
you can subscribe to us on iTunes.
Give us a listen. And if we scare you too much, well, maybe Spanish horror is not your thing. I don't know.
Cinema Inferior.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Join Sparkle City Film the SARS for Cinema Inferior. We only review the best horror and sci-fi movies.
It puts the B in B-movie, that's for sure.
As a result, we take the show seriously, and our approach is very sober.
Yeah, I was thinking about playing Nine from Outer Space, man. I had to crack a Coors Light on that one.
We appreciate our audience and respect your input.
You know what? I'm sorry, but you're all wrong, and you should burn in hell.
And in return, we bask in the adulation of our adoring fans.
You know what? Fuck your podcast.
So join us bi-weekly for the show. Hurry home. And don't forget the plot giveaway. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Cinema Inferior.
Available on Stitcher, iTunes, at cinemainferior.com, and a member of the Tangent Bound Network.
Attention goremongers and whacked-out cinema junkies. The Sleazebox has your trash film fix. Visit www.thesleazebox.com. I repeat, www.thesleazebox.com. With titles like Scumbags, Naughty Dirty Nasty, Burglar from Hell, Hell Walks the Earth, Make Them Die Sleazy, and American Holocaust. You can't go wrong. Or better yet, buying these gross-out horror atrocities is wrong. But brother, it feels so right. The website again is www.thesleazebox.com.